So, what do you do when you're offshore and you have a storm coming? Maybe it started already. You got massive seas, strong winds, likely to increase and last for several days. How do you get through that? How do you survive storm force winds? Take care of the boat, yourself, and the crew. On Saga 47 Swan, the answer is to deploy our Jordan Series Drogue, already in place with the tactics of deploying it thrown out ahead. With the Jordan Series Drogue deployed from the stern, the boat, the crew, and myself are safe till the storm is gone. Please note that there is not one heavy weather tactic that fits all. It depends on you, your crew, and the type of vessel, which tactic will work for you. As a skipper, it is important to know how your yacht handles when the going gets rough. How does he sail to windward in big seas? Does he heave too well? And so on. The book Heavy Weather Sailing by Martin Thomas and Peter Bruce is a must read for anyone venturing offshore. Once you have decided on a storm technique, para anchor, sea break, or Jordan Series Stroke, it's important to practice it. That means deploy and retrieve. If you don't practice, you will delay, be hesitant to deploy it early before the situation gets dangerous. The longer you wait, the more difficult it's going to be to deploy. I experienced this on a late October crossing of the Bay of Biscay, which was the first passage of our 2022 Atlantic circuit. We had just received and installed our Jordan Series stroke in Plymouth, but due to a tight weather window, we had no time to practice deploying it before we set off for the Bay of Biscay. And sure enough, halfway across the Bay of Biscay, we get a force 9 with big breaking seas, which we could have set out nicely with the Jordan Series stroke deployed. We didn't deploy the drogue as I was uncomfortable deploying equipment that both the crew and I had not tested before. Instead, we rode out the storm with the trysail. Let's have a look at the Jordan Series stroke and how we deploy and retrieve on Saga 47 Swan. So Skipper Chris here. Today we're gonna deploy our Jordan Series stroke. Lying here on the floor, we have a Jordan Series stroke for when the going gets really tough and waves get big and dangerous, and as a last resort we can deploy our Jordan Series stroke. It's 186 small cones, and we're going to deploy it from the back of the boat. We have mounted some chain plates there to take the load. Let's see how it goes. So when we are in blue water passage mode, the Jordan Series stroke is stored on deck, ready to deploy. As we don't have much space at the stern area, we store it on deck midship with the bridle lines attached to the chain plates. The bridle line and part of the leader line is held in place with cable ties, which will break when the Jordan Series stroke is deployed. So the way we're going to deploy it is we're going to deploy it on our starboard side of the boat. It has a deployment bag there. We will deploy, let's say, not the end first. End will go in last. So we'll deploy the drogue, the small parachutes which are closest to the boat first. In that way, the load will not come straight away on the drogue, and it should be easier and more smooth to deploy. Let's see how it goes. Are you ready to deploy? We are deploying. We just deployed the. This is the first part. We have to make sure that it doesn't touch anything. So this one, I will see how they go out. The golden. Okay, let's deploy it. Keep going. For ease of retrieval, we have a retrieval line attached to the end of the bridle, held in place on the starboard bridle line by cable ties.
We have this line here, black line, that we're going to use to put the
When we want to retrieve the Jordan Series Drogue, we bring the retrieval line onto our primary winch. It can be a bit tricky to winch in the Jordan Series Drogue,
you bring it in.
as the cones get stuck on cleats and guardrails, so we use a fender to guide the Jordan Series Drogue to the winch. A fender step would be an even better solution.
Another one.
Same one that is coming out. Where?
Deploying the Jordan Series Drogue with the cones first and the chain weight last worked well. No load on the Jordan Series Drogue during deployment, and it's easy to ensure that the bridle didn't get entangled in any gear on our transom. Retrieval took less than 30 minutes. A retrieval line attached to the bridle is the way to go. We have big winches on Saga 47 Swan, so we could winch in the Jordan Series Drogue without damaging the cones. A fender step would greatly facilitate the retrieval, as it would guide the cones away from the cleats and guardrails and onto the winch. On yachts, we have so much equipment that we hope never to use. Practice your emergency procedures. Test and know your yacht. Decide and practice your heavy weather tactics. Do a sea survival course. Every day on a yacht is a school day.